Hello, I'm Nancy Follansby, Superintendent of Schools, and I have Casey Corsella, who is one of our school committee members, and Rebecca Belcher-Timmy, who is the outreach chair of our PTO, and Casey is also I believe, a co-chair of the PTO.
Yes.
And they're here today to tell us about an exciting event that's going to occur in our district, Kindergarten Open House. So let's start first, though, by having both of you tell me a little bit about yourselves and why you got involved in the PTO, a little bit about our PTO. So Casey, would you like to start?
Yes. I am, well, as you know, I'm on the school committee, and I have 2 children. My daughter, who is now in 1st grade, and last year we had a great experience at Center when she was in kindergarten. And I have a son who is 3.5, and really excited to be part of East Hampton Schools, and I've had a really wonderful experience getting involved and volunteering in the community through the PTO. And yeah, I'm a full-time mom and now school committee, and I have a husband, Vincent, and yeah, we love East Hampton.
That's great, Casey. And Rebecca, maybe you could say a little bit more about the PTO, the organization itself, and why you joined and why you like to be part of the PTO.
Absolutely. Well, I have 2 children in the East Hampton schools, and one of them is at Whitebrook now this year, and one of them is in 3rd grade at the Maple School. And at the end of the year 2 years ago, we found out that the PTO was going to dissolve, and so a group of parents came together to kind of rescue it, and I was part of that. And we had found such a great community at Maple and in East Hampton that, and we knew there was so much volunteer energy out there that just needed to be harnessed. And so I think we've really been able to tap into that. It was really exciting to kind of get in on the ground floor of that effort. And now we have this amazing, thriving PTO that is full of really active parents who are just bringing energy to lots of different projects. So
and it is very exciting. It certainly is thriving and full of energy. So Rebecca, if someone out there in our audience hasn't joined the PTO and would like to, what would be the best way to do that?
Well, you can visit our website, which I think is easthamptonpto.org, or our Facebook page, which is just East Hampton. I think if you search the East Hampton PTO page on Facebook, you'll find it. And then we have monthly meetings. I think they're the first Wednesday of the month. From 6:30 to 7:30, and they are open and everyone is welcome, and we would love to see new faces there.
Yep, they're at the high school.
Yes.
And there's one on Wednesday night this week.
And there's childcare available.
Yes.
Great,
Yeah.
Wonderful. So let's talk a little bit now about this exciting event, the Kindergarten Open House. It's being sponsored, I understand, by the PTO.
Yes.
Casey, can you tell us a little bit about that?
This is our 2nd year of the Kindergarten Information Night, and last year was a huge success thanks to Rebecca and the Outreach Committee, and it really is a different kind of informational setup than it was in the past years, where people who are looking at East Hampton schools, their kids coming into kindergarten, were able to hear from parents as well as 4th graders and the administrators. And it was more of a question answer as opposed to just information. And I think a lot of parents got a lot out of it because, there's not a lot of information out there, or if there is, hearsay through, there could be some negative things. And we really felt like, East Hampton isn't really seen in the light that it should be, because there's a lot of great things happening in our schools. And we really wanted to share that with families that were coming in with kindergartners, and it was a great opportunity and a lot of really great feedback and a lot of families that chose to stay in East Hampton.
Wonderful. So what exactly is the format of the evening?
So we have a number of different speakers, and we'll actually begin with a bit of a meet and greet. So this is tomorrow night. It's from 6 to 6:30 is the meet and greet portion, so that parents with kindergarten eligible children can just meet each other and can mingle informally with PTO members, administrators, teachers. and the students, and then we'll move into the library for a slightly more formal presentation. Students are going to share experiences, 4 or 5 fourth grade students, and then teachers and administrators are going to talk. We're very excited that a couple of kindergarten teachers have agreed to talk about just a typical day in kindergarten and a little bit about kindergarten curriculum. Parents have a lot of questions about the reading program and the math program, so the kindergarten teachers will address that. Administrators will talk about some of the more logistical issues around busing and school meals, things like that. Then we'll have parents share their positive experiences, and we'll do a Q&A, and then we'll follow up with afterward with just a chance for people to mingle again, so that if there are any parents who would like to ask anything one-on-one, they'll have the chance to do that.
Great. Sounds like a wonderful evening. I remember being there last year, and it just seemed like there was such energy and such enthusiasm. And if parents aren't able to attend this information night tomorrow night, how would they get information about the kindergartens, our kindergartens?
I think that they can call the schools directly, and we did include on the invitation that we sent to all kindergarten eligible families the phone numbers of the schools. So if both Allison Ribello at Center Pepin and Judy Averill at Maple would be more than happy to set up a tour, to answer questions, to get parents in touch with PTO members, to learn more about the school. So I think just follow up directly.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. And I know that you both are very strong advocates for our kindergartens, and I wondered if you could talk a little bit about that right now. Casey, what was your experience?
Our experience last year with my daughter Camila was great. We had Mrs. Wheatley, who actually left the district to move to England, and it was, coming in was my first child, so my first experience in the public school, and I was able to volunteer, and I volunteered every Wednesday to sit with their math centers, and I loved it. I was really able to see, her classmates and how the teacher taught, which I was very impressed, and the curriculum was great, and my measurement is based on my child being happy, and she was happy, and she loved to be with her classmates, and I could just tell that she was nurtured in a wonderful way, and she learned so much, and so it really went beyond, it exceeded our expectations.
It's wonderful to hear. We who are in the schools think we have the best kindergarten teachers anywhere, but it's nice to hear it coming from our parents as well. And Rebecca, what about you? How was your experience?
Well, we had a fantastic experience. Both of my kids went through Jane LaPointe's class, and Jane has been in the district for many, many years. And we moved here in the spring of 2010, which was right before my son was going to start kindergarten, and I wasn't able to make it to the tours that were set up, and I ended up getting a tour from the principal then, Tim Luce, and he just took me on a private tour of the building, and we met Jane LaPointe on that tour, and her students were at music class, and she took 20 minutes of her time to talk to me, and I was completely sold after talking to her. I think anybody who talked to Jane LaPointe for 20 minutes would want their child to be in her class, which was really part of the reason we really wanted to do the kindergarten night, was just so that parents would get that experience to talk to teachers. But my son and daughter both just had an amazing experience, the kind of community that Jane built, among the students, such a safe place to learn. The kids are really, really engaged. They know exactly what they're supposed to be doing. It's so purposeful, the way they move through the day. I've loved seeing how the curriculum actually changed between my son and my daughter. It just showed a great responsiveness, I thought, in East Hampton, being open to change and adopting a math curriculum that I think has been really successful. And the friendships that they've made and that we've made through the East Hampton schools, a lot of them are from that kindergarten experience. It's just been really amazing. We just loved our kindergarten experience so much.
Oh, that's great to hear. And I know Jane, as did Laura Wheatley and Jane LaPointe and our other teachers as well, but they have such a nice writing program, don't they?
Yes, absolutely.
Talk a little bit about that, Rebecca, and then Casey, I'll see you.
Yes, so both of my children, I think the writing program has evolved a little bit, but when my children were in kindergarten, they were writing in a journal every week, at least 2 or 3 times every week, and they would take the stories from the journals. They were personal narratives, so things about their own life that had really happened, and they would publish them into little stories that would come home. And my husband and I just so looked forward to seeing those stories come home, and seeing the evolution of their writing in the journal, from just very, very beginning phonetic spelling to really more elaborate stories with a lot of conventional spelling and better story structure. You could just see their growth over the year. It was amazing.
It's fun to see, isn't it?
Yeah.
Casey, you had a similar experience?
Very similar, where they have journals and then they would draw, which my daughter loves to draw, so they would draw a picture and then she would write about the picture, describing it, and like Rebecca said, with the beginnings of the phonetic spelling, and it was wonderful. And it was, because we didn't do a lot of that work at home with her, and so to see her really evolve and really be learning from the teacher, it was very impressive. And I just loved how they incorporated the art as well, the creativity with the drawing and then the writing about it, because my daughter loves art.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that was something that was incorporated in her lesson as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I think that that's evidence of the consistency in our kindergarten programs across the district, because you visit, no matter which kindergarten you visit, you'll see those same kinds of wonderful opportunities for our children.
Yes.
So now I understand there is going to be, either it has been sent out yet or will be sent out soon, a registration packet for kindergarten, and
Yes, I believe that the registration packets, last year they were available at the kindergarten night for parents to take, but I know that there will be a formal registration day or a couple days in March, and then I think that information will get mailed out very shortly after parents have had the chance to come in and get information about the schools. And I think that the registration, if you want to go in, it happens over many hours and it's pretty painless. It's really just a drop off, and you can say hi to the principals and
another opportunity to see the schools.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I certainly appreciate you coming here and talking with me about your experiences in our schools. I think this Kindergarten Information Night is such a wonderful event in our district, and I certainly appreciate the work, and I know there was a lot of work that you put into having this happen, so I am hoping that we'll get the same kind of big turnout that we got last year. Anything else you'd like to say?
I did want to add that there are 3 schools, and I just wanted to say that it doesn't matter which school you end up in, because they're all equally great. The teachers are equally great in all 3 of the schools, and so, no worries about which school that you get, because the schools together, they kind of work as one, and the 2 administrators, Judy Averill and Allison Rebello, they're very much in partnership with the curriculum and things that arise, and it's seen. It's definitely consistent throughout all 3.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
I completely agree.
Wonderful. Well, every month I'm trying to do an interview with school personnel or something about our schools, and again, so I so much appreciate you coming in and talking about your experiences, and I hope everyone who's tuning in will look for the next interview to learn a little bit more about what we believe are high-quality schools that provide a high-quality program for our students. So thank you both.
Thank you.
Bye now.